What is up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of the My Player Career Mode. This is episode number 94 now, and as you can probably tell, it is going to be post-com. This one comes at you after we unfortunately fell to a defeat in the World Cup final. If you haven't already watched that video for whatever reason, then I recommend you guys go back and watch it. It was one of the most important games we are likely to have on this entire series, and unfortunately, as I say, we fell to a defeat to the Spaniards, beating us in that final by 1-0. Unfortunately, guys, we couldn't bring the World Cup back to England. We've already done it once in the series, though, so it's not like we haven't won it. But, unfortunately, we couldn't do it the second time of asking. But that is the way it is, unfortunately. And I'm pretty sure I just said the word unfortunately probably, 5-6 times within the space of 10 seconds? Mental. Anyways, hopefully you're all having a good day as well. We are on to Thursday night, guys. One more day to go, and then it is going to be the weekend for everybody out there. So hopefully you guys have got some interesting stuff planned for this weekend. I'm not sure what I'm going to do. I'll probably end up just watching the last bit of football, of course, because this Sunday, guys, marks the final game of this season of the Premier League. So, for me personally, it's quite a big day, of course. Arsenal have one chance at it, and they've got to hope that Liverpool drop some points. So, for every one of the Liverpool fans on my channel at the moment who support me and watch what I do, I hope you guys don't drop points. But secretly, deep down, of course, I want you guys to drop points. I want to get Champions League football with Arsenal. So, although I won't be able to kind of predict the outcome of what comes, of course, Liverpool are playing, I think, Middlesbrough. And Arsenal are taking on Everton. And Everton have been somewhat a thorn in our side recently. So, yeah, it'll be an interesting last day of the Premier League season. So, of course, Chelsea have already wrapped up the league title, so we already know who the champions are. Now it's all about wrapping up the top 4 spots. And, of course, anybody fighting against relegation, I don't actually know who the full list of teams down there are. I think Swansea are there, Hull are definitely there, but I don't know who's actually gone down. I haven't actually checked yet. So, when I'm recording this, by the way, it is actually Wednesday night, so it could have swung anyway. So, yeah, it could be swings and roundabouts. We'll see exactly what happens come the end of the season on Sunday afternoon. Hopefully, as well, we can get ourselves into that top 4 spot. And for any of you guys out there who support the clubs, hopefully you guys have had a good season. Hopefully, as well, you will get what you were aiming for this season. A couple of teams actually did quite well. West Brom are up there at the moment. And they fell off somewhat recently, but certainly I see this as a good season for them. So it's good to see from Pulis, actually, because he's quite a good manager, Pulis, and I rate him very, very highly. Yesterday's episode of the Road to Glory Career Mode, though, guys, I asked you a question in that, and if you don't watch it, I'm going to ask a similar question here. In that episode, I asked you guys because of course Sunderland had already gone down, my first question was, do you think David Moyes will stay on at Sunderland? And my second question was, I think, along the lines of, where do you think Jermaine Defoe will end up? Because I don't see him staying at Sunderland, but I've got another question along those lines. Having watched the game last night between Arsenal and Sunderland, my other question for you guys is, where do you guys think Jordan Pickford will end up? Of course, the Sunderland goalkeeper had played a blinder last night. If you follow me on Twitter, I basically tweeted about it just saying, well played, lad, because he's obviously working hard in a team that's very, very poor in that respect. They had a lot of chances at Arsenal, and he saved quite a few of them. So my new question for you guys is, where do you think Pickford will end up? I've got this theory, and I've said it a couple of times before, that I think Fraser Forster might be heading to Liverpool, and then Pickford may go to Southampton as a replacement. But I don't know, because he could also go to the likes of West Ham, maybe, in that kind of sense. So that's down for your debate, I guess. Where do you think Jordan Pickford is going to end up? Do you think he'll stay at Sunderland in the Championship, or do you think he'll go to a Premier League club? If so, which one would you guys like to see him at? Personally speaking, I think if Fraser Forster does go to the likes of Liverpool, because of course the only reason I say that is you guys probably know from down the line how many times Liverpool have taken Southampton players, in which case if he goes there I can see Pickford going to Southampton as a replacement, but I can also see him, like I said, at the likes of West Ham, or maybe somebody like that, maybe Swansea. We'll see anyways. And I'm going to say right now, obviously the Southampton one requires Fraser Forster going elsewhere, so in terms of that one, I'm going to say I think Pickford will probably end up at it's a tough one, but I'll go for either Southampton or West Ham. And that's the 2 teams I'm going to go with. But let me know what you guys think. Anyways, I honestly haven't spoken at all about this episode here against Barcelona, as it's a 2-leg thing, this one. And the 3 games, in today's episodes are all 4 trophies. But I forgot to show you all the trophy lifting because I'm an absolute mug, and I didn't realise until after I skipped it that there were actually trophies on the line for these ones. I thought they were just kind of pre-season friendlies mixed in with a couple of boring games or whatever. So the first leg against Barcelona here was all tied after Neymar gave them a lead from a fantastic volley, and then I think I set up James Rodriguez as he gave us a goal back there. So at the Santiago Bernabeu, it was all square after 90 minutes. And one thing to note as well, guys, all games in today's episode were on legendary difficulty, and I apologise as well if my microphone has been very loud in today's episode. I don't know why, But it seems as though, because if you don't already know as well, I kind of bought these foam tile things where you put them on the wall. It's supposed to get rid of echo and stuff, but it's also made my microphone so much clearer, but also louder. So I'm trying to max about the settings. Hopefully it's all cool for you guys anyways in that respect. But moving into the second game then of today's episode, as I've spoken about a tangent for literally 5 or so minutes now, but it's always great to get your guys' kind of thoughts and stuff, and I am planning on bringing a series to the channel where we just speak pure football. Ever since I came onto YouTube, when I first started, I always wanted to bring like a weekly talk show about the Premier League, whatever it was. I always had like these kind of ideas, and leaving school, I always wanted to be either, you know, like a footballer or a person who like kind of talks about football, like a pundit in a sense, but not necessarily a pundit because I don't really know what I'm talking about. But I always wanted to do something similar to that. So when I was kind of starting out on YouTube, I had this kind of theory where every week, maybe every Wednesday, we'd upload a video and it would be talking about what happened in the previous weekend's results. But of course, there's some midweek games like Monday, Tuesday, so we could also include them in them. And what we could always do is kind of look at those stuff, talk about them, get your guys' input, let you guys answer questions, and even if the series got to a kind of stage where it was kind of bigger than what I was expecting, maybe get some other people on there, who knows. But that was always a massive goal of mine when I first came onto YouTube. But back then, I didn't really have kind of the channel or the know-how to be able to facilitate it. That's the word I'm looking for. Whereas now, the channel's at, what, 8,700 of you guys, and you guys are always asking me questions like, what do I think of this, or what do I think of that? So it'd be really cool to have like that kind of series in that sense. So maybe along the lines, when I get a few more hours on my hands and a bit more time, I will incorporate it into the channel. But it's like I said, it's amazing with the amount of questions and the amount of input that you guys give me, and you know, the amount of times I've asked you a question and you guys give me an answer, and it's really cool to read through them as well. So yeah, it's always a good stuff to see. So I'm thankful to every single one of you guys who leave me comments, like the videos and stuff. I've said it so many times, but genuinely, guys, from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for supporting me on this channel. It means so much to see. I came into this as basically nothing, and now there's 8,000 of you guys who watch my videos on a daily basis. So yeah, thank you to every single one of you guys out there. And I cannot stress that enough, as we unfortunately fall to a defeat here. 86 minutes on the clock. We had a few chances, actually, to take the lead in this game against Barcelona over the 2 legs. And honestly, the latest chance we had came at the hands of Rodriguez, the left-back, and he somehow miscued his shot so bad that it didn't even go with any power, and it wasn't on target. So Thierry Ambrose there, the former City man, gave Barca the lead in the 90th minute or so, and we actually had one more chance before the end of the game. A lot of luck involved, and I just don't know what happened to my finishing there. It got to go in, that one. That was shocking from me. My finishing, as one of you guys pointed out in the last episode, and I'm not going to use the word that you guys said, but it is kind of poop right now. So that just shows you how poor that finish was from me. I had to score it, you know. That is to potentially take it to extra time. And like I said, I skipped Barca lifting the trophy. But in all honesty, do you really want to see Barca lifting the trophy and add more insult to injury to myself, having not won it? Probably not. I mean, I'm sure you guys who support Barcelona on the channel would enjoy to see that. But personally speaking, I was just kind of tilted at the fact I missed that chance and how many chances we had to win that game before we ended up falling to a defeat. So I was a bit tilted, I'm not going to lie. And when we moved into the third game of today's episode, which coincidentally, we've already spoken about West Ham today, is actually against West Ham because it's the Champions League winners playing against the Europa League winners. So it's really cool to see that West Ham United are the Europa League winners in this series, which is something I wasn't expecting to say. So this one is for the Copa Europe here, and this one, in a sense, is quite important, but at the same time, I didn't even realise what it was for. I had a mind blank. I just didn't realise it was for actual trophies. I thought it was kind of just something additional to play, and so I forgot to show the trophy lifting in this one as well. Obviously, I haven't given anything away. You won't know the outcome of the game because I would have shown you it regardless if I'd have not been a mug and skipped it, regardless of if we won or lost. You know, I showed you Spain lifting the World Cup, of course, in the last episode, which I'm still very, 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 very frustrated about, and I'm sure you guys are as well. So we're moving into this game against West Ham here, and to be honest with you, their team isn't fantastic. I don't know how they've got themselves to a Europa League final. There's a couple of players in there, don't get me wrong, that are pretty damn good, but there's a few of them in there as well that I'm kind of thinking, how on earth are they in the West Ham United team that's won the Europa League? So Mo Barrow springs to mind, for example, when they could have had literally anybody else. I mean, Mo Barrow's not bad, don't get me wrong, but he was at Leeds for a time, you know, so that just shows you Championship football. Is he quite good enough to be playing the Europa League? I mean, I'm saying this, but he won it, so probably. But yeah, their team isn't fantastic, and it was quite simple for us to create chances here. Another one straight through the middle for me, 31 minutes on the clock, and honestly, another poor finish from myself. I have to do better with those ones. It's got to go in. I tried to do a low-driven shot, I just didn't get any power on it at all, and he just ended up going straight at the keeper. So, yeah, frustrated so far, but 46 minutes on the clock. Second half coming out here. Right-footed finish, bottom corner. So we took the lead here just after the half-time whistle, moving into the second half, and West Ham United, a team in which, of course, they do play in the English League, and me being English, I would have liked to have played, Premier League football again in my time in this series. So maybe we'll see what happens. But I know for sure, guys, we have actually handed in a transfer request. I did it on your guys' suggestions and requests in the past. So you guys have asked me to move clubs, asked me to go elsewhere, and I have handed in a transfer request as well. So just know that, and we'll see what offers come through for us. And I will not make the decision until I ask you guys, of course, whether or not you want me to go to whichever team makes an offer. But that's it from me, guys. Hopefully you've enjoyed this episode, and hopefully you've not been too annoyed by my tangent that I've been on. As always, guys, thank you for your continued support on the channel. I appreciate it so much, and I will catch you all with another video at 6 PM UK time tonight. Adios!